Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about prepping. Now, a lot of people think prepping's for like the crazy conspiracy theory types, but there is prepping over here in the Philippines that you kind of have to be ready for. Number one is typhoons. Number two would probably be power outages, which comes along with typhoons and earthquakes and things like that. Also, you have to be ready for earthquakes. But also for just regular everyday power outages, water outages. For me, I always have a lot of water on hand. I have all that there in the corner is all water. And I have more hidden underneath my table. I have more hidden underneath my sink. I probably have about 20 cases of water here at any given time for the reason that it's great to have in emergencies if something really bad happens. And what I do is I cycle through it. Now, that means what I mean is when I take 1, 2, or 3 cases out during the week, I'll buy 3 cases to replace it, and I'll keep going through all the other ones, and then I just go around. I work through them all, but I always have the same amount of cases around. And not everybody believes that they probably need 20 cases, but if God forbid you have something happen, you're going to have people knocking on your door asking for help or something like that. If there's a earthquake, or even if there's like a water outage or something like that, it's great that you have enough water around. And also, not just have boxes of water, but have those big jugs that they sell, and have like maybe 5 or 10 of those around too. And you can store those out in back of your house up again, and cycle through them. Use them once in a while so that your water doesn't go bad. I wouldn't leave them out in direct sunlight, but I would store them someplace where there's hardly any sunlight, and cycle through those too. Use them also for pouring a glass of water or for cooking or whatever, and then get new ones, because water, after a while, it picks up that plasticky taste, and you don't want that. Also, you might want to have a generator. That's another thing that's a good thing to have over here. You want at least a generator that will run your refrigerator and maybe a few lights or whatever. You're going to hear a little bit of rain here because we're having some rain here finally. It's been months and months and months since we've had this much rain here, and that's a good thing. But also, you may want to put some money aside. And the reason why I say put money aside, with all the things going on in the world, there's so much that, we can't really plan. We can plan a little bit for, but I mean, if, God forbid, World War III takes place, or China comes in here, or something like that, you don't know in today's world. And some people would say, well, Steve, that's crazy. It's never going to happen. The other day, they just surrounded Taiwan in a practice drill. So, I mean, that tells you something right there. They're not practicing for nothing. It's not just a joke. They're practicing for a reason. Could this happen next week? Who knows? Probably not. Could it happen a couple of years down the road? The chances rise. It depends on who the president is and a lot of things, and I'm not trying to talk politics. I'm just saying the truth here. Also, have an electric fan. Buy an electric fan that is rechargeable. And you see them in Ace Hardware over here all the time, and you see them in all the stores. They usually go for about 599 pesos. Have one of those, but also, not just that, get a real heavy-duty USB charger. Real heavy-duty battery, the batteries, so that you can charge your phones, things like that, and be ready for the worst. And also maybe have something, you can also hook up your generator, or have a giant battery pack or something also for your Wi-Fi, or and also for your computer, things like that. But most of the time you can do everything on your phone today, and that's the great thing about having a small battery pack for your phone, or have a big battery pack in case it's several weeks or whatever. Food, I tell people, always have probably at least a month's worth of food around, possibly 2 months worth of food. And usually Filipinos are pretty good about that. If you cut back a little bit on your eating, and you cut back on things, you can usually, like, your rice will help you last a long time. I say have a lot of rice around the house, and a lot of pasta, canned foods. Always have canned foods, canned beans. You can get, at S&R here, you can get Irish stew or clam chowder and stuff like that, and the stuff lasts for years. Just have it around and cycle through it. you know, it doesn't hurt to have some of this extra stuff on hand. It's not going to kill you, and you're still you're cycling through it. So that's the good part. So you're using it. It doesn't go to waste. You're never going to throw it out. You know, you just cycle through it and use it on occasion. You know, let's say some night it's raining like tonight. It's raining like crazy outside. Instead of going out to eat, and you don't feel like really cooking or anything, just throw a can of chowder in the microwave, or have some Irish stew or something like a canned Irish stew. You can probably hear the rain now. It's a lot of like a heavy drone of water hitting the roof here. But also, guys, always be ready. Always have some money in the bank. Also, you know. And I'm talking about like in a home type bank, like a safe or something like that. Have your own little bank besides because if ATMs are down, you're screwed over here. You know, anything that happens with the internet, you're screwed over here. Some people say, well, Steve, what about, you know, other things like satellite phones or something like that? Satellite phones have come down in price a lot for having an emergency phone just sitting around your house. You can buy the phone or get the phones almost for nothing. They're fairly reasonable, and you can buy like so many minutes for the entire year. So at least then you can call somebody when you know, God forbid the phone lines go down over here or something like that, or internet and phone lines go down. Usually our phone's pretty much, like at least in my house, I use Wi-Fi calling. So God forbid a bunch of things come into place and something happens, you could get something like that if you want to. If you got the money to spend on something like that, I say just try to keep your Wi-Fi up and running, you know, if there's an outage. But also you could have Starlink. There's all different types of things that you can do, of course, to plan in advance. And Starlink is not really a bad deal over here, I don't think. Is it super fast? Yeah, it's fast enough to get you by. You know, you can do movies on your HD TV with it and stuff like that probably and get away with it. Do I think Starlink's worth it? I think Starlink is great to have for many reasons, because I think some of the other internets over here just don't cut it. They just don't cut it. And Starlink doesn't go down as much. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but at least you'd have a way to talk to people back home. And you can have the Starlinks like the RV type that you put outside on the ground outside your house, and as long as, you know, put a camera on it or something, depending on where you live, or put it up on your roof and make a mount for it. You know, you can also do that. But during the windy times, you're probably going to have to take it down. Maybe have a cheap internet also in your house from like PLDT or Converge or one of the other ones, Fiberblaze, and then have the Starlink one as your main one. So that way you have two. You know, God forbid something happens. You know, there's so many other things that you can do. You guys are welcome to add on to this in the comment section and stuff, and I hope you do. But those are the things I think you need to have the most. And also have a radio around the house so you can, and if maybe you can get a crank radio that recharges, or a solar radio, or make sure you have extra batteries. You know, having all this stuff around, it doesn't hurt to have the extra stuff around. You know, it doesn't cost that much to be prepared and everything. You know, and remember, during bad times, typhoons, earthquakes, stuff like that, people will be knocking on your door asking you for help. You know, and they might be friends or relatives or what have you too. Be sure you have some money in your safe so you can help people as much as you can. And also for your own. And you don't know how long things will be down when things do happen. You know, God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And sorry for the noise.